Hello and welcome to a Or to Know Better. I'm joined tonight by Jay, Luke, and Smarty. We'll be back with you in 1 second.
Hi, this is Don Matteo, and you are listening to the Or to Know Better podcast. Let's do this.
Hello and welcome to the post-match West Ham podcast. How's it going, everybody?
The what?
Right? The post.
Welcome to the what?
The post West Ham podcast, man. This is post.
It's not the post West Ham.
West Ham.
Hasn't happened.
Oh,
I'll love.
Already.
What were the result, Karl? Just so I can note it down.
I'll
so I can get my
all
prediction
numbers
right.
as well. Yeah. So, how are you getting on, lads? You doing all right?
Not too bad. Bad. Apart from
Good stuff.
a disaster over there.
Nice.
I'm
nice.
titillatingly wonderful.
Oh, Jesus Christ. What brought that on? Luke,
New year, new me. All
Oh,
that sort of
Jesus.
thing.
Somebody else
man,
got
thing.
kids or something.
I'm just one of them January wankers that appears for a little
no.
while and then just goes away.
Do you do
Comes away all
dry
positive.
January? Anyone?
No.
Nah.
No.
Why would you take something as good as alcohol and throw it away for a month?
One of the few
Especially in
joys
these times.
in life.
Precious
Yeah.
joys in life.
Your
Yeah.
pub needs you in these times as well. You know, high rates and
That's it.
and all that. And I think we should be supporting our local pubs.
Yeah, I had some bad news.
I
My
agree.
local got told they were being taken over again. So that was bad news.
Was that bad news?
It is bad news. Yeah, because they're
At least
they're
taken over and not
leaving.
fucking fecked off.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least they're not block of flats yet.
No, this is also very true.
At least it's not dry salters style.
Bloody hell, yeah.
Yeah.
That's it, yeah. Jay, we'll go to you first and foremost for the predictions and how everyone got on. I know everybody's
brilliant.
sent it over there.
Fantastic.
How did you get
Jay,
on?
have you got grayer in the mouth since I've last seen you?
Probably, mate. Yeah, there's a bit there, but this video's really grainy as well. It makes it look worse.
You do look ill.
You look like you've been drinking milk from a
I'm
from
not
a cap
happy
saucer.
about it. The colour saturation is all off, but I can't be bothered messing with it anymore. So
You
I
look
look a
well,
little
though.
bit-
You all look
I
well.
look a
Nice
little
to
bit
see you. Happy
healthy.
New Year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Happy
you
New
too.
Year, lads, and all that.
Lads. Aye.
I'm not
My
going to
first
do any
back.
predictions, Karl, until you run the video. So I'm just going to keep waiting.
Oh, here, look.
You're not asking him to do out technical, are you? Jesus Christ.
Hold on.
Or to know better predictions.
I got this
Well
shit.
done.
I got this
Nicely
shit.
done.
Someone's got to have a finger on the pulse around here.
Grayer in the
Fucking
mouth.
hell.
Grayer in the mouth.
To be fair, that's one of the nicer things he said to me, so that's all right. Right, so I'm not
It's
gonna
like
piss her-
it's like he's been multing out Dame Judi Dench.
Jesus Christ. I've got my limits, pal. I've got my limits.
Could be worse.
Are there cobwebs on your chin, Jay?
Do you want these predictions, or shall I just...
Sorry,
fuck off?
mate. Sorry, mate.
No, go for it, Jay.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Right, so I ain't going to fuck about with this, because I'm not really in the mood, to be honest with you. I got 0 points, which was shit.
He's dropped a yogurt today. He's fuming.
It's all
Sorry,
gone.
it's shag pile cap. It's ruined.
Yeah. Austin Powers lost his shit today.
All I can say is it's a good job it's a washable fucking doormat. So I got 0 points. Smarty, you went 2-0 Newcastle, you treacherous bastard. You got -3. Stats got -3. The fans, thanks to Allison, got -3. Just Joe got -3. Bren got fucking everyone got -3. I'm not going to keep reading these, but nobody were there. Apart from
Just do your shit out.
old bloody Gilly himself with his fucking draw. So he gets 3 points. And that leaves the table looking like Scotty at the bottom, Big Lou, Cy, Bren, Just Joe. Then we're out of the minus figures, back to 0. We've got Karl and Stats, Cozy Bedfellows there. Then we've got Smarty on 1, just on top of them two, like he likes to be. Jason on 2, Luke on 3, fans on
How are we
6,
chasing?
Gilly on 7, and I'm top with 11 points.
You're well clear there, so yeah, it's going to be tough to
the
catch.
way
It's
it
because
should
there's a
be.
shit house. It's because there's a shit house. It won't realistically, speak about predictions. They'll just go, Leeds will win again. No, they won't, though.
I refuse to believe that there's not a chance, even though...
You said they would beat City.
Even though,
That's all you need
my head...
saying it.
Yeah, we're beaten with 10 men in the past, Smarty, so anything can happen.
Yeah, that's when we used to play football.
Yeah, I know that, but, we can get to all that in a bit, can't we?
Yeah.
At least you weren't stood in pissing fucking rain up a fucking tower with a shit pie watching that.
To be fair, it was quite dry up there.
Telling you not to bloody walk under them garden taps, James.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad, to be fair.
Yeah,
it wasn't that
grand.
bad.
It's grand. It's a sound owl view, but, it just gives you a little bit more of the pitch to see and other bits and pieces. Luke, you were at the game as well, weren't you?
I was vertigo because I was there. I have been loads of times. I knew what to expect. I knew my knees wouldn't be able to whack it, but I still went. It was. Look, it weren't bad. I mean, they had their chances, and I've seen the highlights back since and that, but we went up there and played for a point. We were doing the shithousery that teams used to do against us and playing for a point and grinding it out and getting a decent point away against arguably one of the informed sides in the league. So I was happy with a point up there. I would like to have seen a goal. I thought we had a couple of decent chances. We had one blocked on the line, and we had the free kick on the edge of the box, which I don't think beat the wall. But it wasn't a bad game. It wasn't a bad 0-0. It wasn't a bore draw. It was all right. It was something good to watch, and we brought the new in style. The new year in style. The new in's a pub. Brought the new year in style. So yeah, look, there was plenty to build on, I think, from that performance. And if that's the style we're going to go and play against informed teams away from home, I think it is. And try and grind out a draw. I'm not overly unhappy with that because I think that's what level we're at.
All right. I can't say I feel the same now about that. Like, don't get me wrong, a point is something that to come away from Newcastle lately with is valuable enough. But our style of play and like I wasn't happy with how we played at all. I think it's bordering on very anti-football at the moment, the way we're playing, even at home sometimes. And
football.
Yeah, and I don't think I think we'll get on to West Ham later on, but I can see it going very sour if there's another performance like that quite quickly. I just speak from myself. I'm not happy with how we're playing at the moment. Granted, a point from away from home is absolutely brilliant. Like, but to get it in the manner that we had to do it doesn't show. Like, if you come away from Newcastle with a point, show that you've actually played well. You've had time on the ball to build phases of play. You've done this. We didn't do any of that. Like, there's just no coherence in anything that we do. Like, and that's just my opinion. Like, Jesse's a lovely fella. He's all this. He talks a good game, but in my opinion, that's not going to wash for too much longer. And I think if it does wash an awful lot longer, we're in big trouble.
Would you have preferred not to get a point? Is that what you're trying to say? Or?
No. I said that's not what I said. I said I was happy with a point.
Here he goes. Here he goes, Mr. Happy Clapper.
Yeah, but I think every group of lads has a happy clapper. Like, I just think it's Luke for us.
I'm taking piss. It's just something that he were called out for on Twitter. I were just jesting.
I know. But I think we're in big trouble if this carries on. That's just my opinion on it. Like,
just to go back on that. Just look at the recent results we've had, and I mean everybody's sort of is Marsh out again? When actually we've only lost 2 of our recent Premier League games, and that was against Spurs and City, and we should have beaten Spurs. I don't understand great. We're not playing great football. We're not, and it shows that on the pitch. But if you can go to Newcastle away from home on New Year's Eve and get a point in shit conditions, I mean, no matter how you play, you can't really fucking moan at that.
I'm not moaning about the point. I'm just moaning that the way that we played against Newcastle is generally the way we've been playing for the whole season, and it's not changed from last year to any time this year. It's.
I think that's absolute rubbish. I don't think we've played like that all season at all.
I'll put it to you like this, right?
Fight.
I'll put it to you. This is my opinion of it. I don't think any tactics that Jesse Marsh
think when we
used. Hold on, let me finish. I don't
Okay.
think any tactics Jesse Marsh has used have won us any of them games.
So you think that when we beat Liverpool and when we beat Chelsea and when we played Arsenal off the pitch, that was just pure luck, all of it.
All right, you mentioned Arsenal, and that's a point I was going to make there just in between. Is that when he came in for his interview at the press conference afterwards, he was asked, "What made you decide to start playing more out wide and using the width of the pitch so far into the game?" He turned around and said it was the player's choice. That kind of finished it for me. I'm sorry, like tactically, that finished it for me, and that's why I don't think any wins that give credit where it's due. We got the wins. I don't think it's down to his tactics at all, and that's just my opinion. What do you think, Jay?
I can agree with elements of what you both said there, to be honest. The performance against Newcastle, coming back to that, there were a lot of stuff in there that I've mentioned before that I didn't like the ball coming to our players and people just sort of kicking it without any sort of decision making or thinking about where it's going. They just seemed to lash a foot at it. And that happened a lot. But the thing that annoyed me the most about it all was when we did get the ball back off them and we were under a lot of pressure in that game, we just booted it forward over the top back to them. There were nobody there waiting for it. It didn't go to anybody. And they've either been told to do that, which is shite for me, because you should at least be trying to keep it and look for a break rather than just booting it back. Or they don't know where each other is going to be. And if that's the case, then that's poor management, because they've had this break now. They've had this time. We're halfway through a season. They should know where each other's going to be. So is that Jesse's fault or is it the player's fault? And that's the part that's hard to sort of decipher.
Let's put it into a little bit of perspective then. What you're saying is we can't credit the tactics when we've played well against good side, but when we've played shit, we've got to then say it's the manager's fault. And
I've basically said there that none of his tactics won us any points. So I'm not on that fence that you're talking about there. None of his tactics won us any points. That's what I'm saying.
I'm saying it's all from him, or it's from the players. It's one or the other, because we seem to be doing the same stuff quite a lot. If it's from him, then obviously he gets the credit when we win. Of course he does. But I'm just not sure. I'm not sure where it's coming from. I don't like just get the ball and boot it over the top and no regard for whether it's going to go to anyone. I don't want to sit under pressure for a full 90 minutes, and I don't think we've got the back line to sustain pressure for 90 minutes in the majority of games. It's just not what I want to see. And regarding the tactics, I mean, it's changed them slightly, but it still feels like he is trying to force players to adapt to his tactics. Sort of, there's no bending to it, rather than trying to sort of devise a system around the players' qualities instead, which is what I think he should be doing. You should be using the players' best qualities, not trying to force them to do stuff that they're not used to doing. It's just not working, as we're seeing. We had the good little run, but we've had a lot more bad than good, and it's too early at this point to tell which way it's going to go for the next few games.
Just on that, Jay, quickly, you just said we had a good little run, and it's been a lot worse since then. We've only been beaten by Spurs, where we played really well for me, and by City since that good little run in the league. So,
no, I didn't say it's been worse since then. I said it's been worse at times. Like, there's been parts of the season where it's been bad, and then we've had that good little run, and we've just come out the other side of that, and we're sort of waiting now to see what the form looks like, because you can't really judge it against City, can you?
I think we've been very harsh on them. I think a point away at Newcastle is a very, very tough thing to do this season, and I think that.
I agree.
Regardless of how we've played.
I agree with that. I just didn't like the style of play. I agree that a point is a good result. I would have took a point before the game if you'd offered me it. I don't think that's a bad thing. I just didn't like the way it was done. I feel like we should be better than that.
What Smarty, you sit in the south stand with me, and you can see kind of better kind of view of how narrow we get at times. Like, what's your opinion? What do you feel like we could look at changing? Like,
You're sitting comfortably.
I mean, where do you even start?
Minor changes that are going to benefit us then, because
I think we just need to play with more width. We need to play more width. We are so compacted. And I know that's his style. I know that's how he likes to play and stuff like that. But even for an amateur footballer like myself, sat in the South Stand, I can see the humongous gaping issues that we've got at each side of the pitch. You know, you've got players that we're seeing playing now. We're not playing League One. We're not playing Championship. We're playing in the Premier League, where players can literally pick out a pass from nothing and from anywhere on the pitch. To see Jack Grealish in so much space on the left hand side, and other players in so much space, and being able to utilize that and coming down our right side a lot of the time, well, our left, their right, and just attacking us again and again and again, and it's the same old sort of stuff. You know, it's literally, like I say, it's like being in the bloody World War I trenches. You know, we'll keep sending lads over at top. I know they're all going to die, but fuck it, that's all we know. You know, it's for me, I really like Marsh. I don't like his style of play. We've seen that Hassan Hootel and we've seen Klopp, you know, when he initially came in at Liverpool, adopt that style of play, and it didn't work, and they changed. I was kind of hoping, you know, from that he may have learned a few lessons last season and see that his style of play does not work. It does. It might shithouse a couple of wins here. It might get you a couple of little bits here and there, but it's not sustainable. It's not enjoyable. I don't think any of us can literally, you know, sit here and say that you are enjoying what is being put on for us at the minute. Football's about enjoying ourselves. I go to the Leeds games to enjoy myself and to enjoy what I watch. I don't enjoy it. I feel like every game that we're going into at the minute, yes, we are getting some results, but it feels like we're back in League One or back in the Championship as the underdog, trying to shit ours a cup win. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy getting pumped 7-0 by City?
No, obviously, no one likes getting pumped 7-0 by City, but I don't enjoy the football, regardless of who was the manager. I'd rather. You know, we sit here and you're right what you're saying. Yeah, he has pulled some results in. Bielsa was massively.
See, I don't think that's the comparison. I don't think that should be that. I don't think that should be the comparison block. Yes, we have Bielsa. Yes, everything was great at a certain point.
No, it wasn't great. But Bielsa had a shitload of injuries last year, and we still got the same amount of points as we do now than we did last year. And we've got all those fucking players, barring fucking Bamford, who can't hit a fucking barn door. But he was the same last year. We've still got the same issues. And Sinisterra's out, but you know. You can't go.
Adams was missing. I
didn't enjoy getting dicked 7-0. However, on the good occasions and the good times and the most, we got dicked 7-0. But I actually enjoyed the football. The football was still there. We tried to do stuff.
See, I would say I've enjoyed as many games this season.
Absolutely not. No,
you didn't enjoy Chelsea or Arsenal or Spurs.
I enjoyed beating them. Don't get me wrong, there have been, and I've said there have been a couple of good performances. Arsenal, for one, even though we lost, remember, Chelsea and a couple of others. But it's like I said, that it's not like we're a competitive team within this league. It's like we're shithousing a fucking cup fucking game. And that's how I genuinely feel.
And once I think once we
realised, we shithouse them, or we're going to get beaten by next. And that's how I feel.
We appreciate and understand and realise that we're not competitive at that level, and we shouldn't be against those sides realistically, because we're not a team that's got countless amounts of money. I think as a Leeds fan, our expectancy is to be a massive club, and you know those European days back immediately. I think we've just got to appreciate who we are and what we are right now. It's great to say, yeah, in a year's time. The first season with Bielsa in the Premier League was an absolute fluke. Let's be honest. There was no fans. It was completely different to any other season. We saw that the second season with him. This is the level we're at. We are not competitive in the Premier League until we've got a lot of money behind us. That is the be all and end all. The league is about money. Look, there are obviously differences to that opinion. You look at Brentford now, well, they're playing, and a couple of other sides that have done it. But the rarities, the realism is that if you aren't spending big bucks year on year, you are not going to be pushing that top six, realistically, ever. So until we're at that level, We need to be. I mean,
in and around where we are. Look at Villa and how much money they've spent. There's other teams that have spent plenty of money in and around
Everton
us that are in the same position because they're playing shit football, or that the team is just not playing well. At the end of the day, Luke, whether you can stand there and defend Marsh as much as you want, but
I'm not defending Marsh at all. I'm defending the club.
And you can slap them together and say there's something not working.Maybe both of the elements aren't working, rather than one more than the other. But it's just not working, and it's shit. It's shit football. But I do like Marsh. I'd love him. I would love him to be good. I would genuinely love it if he just turned a corner and all of a sudden played fantastic football. That we're like, oh, fucking hell, this is all we wanted, which is what we were promised by them fucking bellends on the board. This is going to be just as good, but we're going to be more zonal. We're going to be set up better defended, but we haven't. And it's just shit.
Right. I haven't once mentioned Marsh too much in his style. I just meant that we need to, as fans, be more realistic. I don't think the expectation is in line with the reality. I think because we're big, we see ourselves as a massive club, which we are. We're still a big club and we're a proper fan base and things. But we don't
need masses of money to invest smartly. Look at Brentford. Brentford are an absolutely perfect example.
I've just said they're anomalies, but then on the flip side of that, you've got to look at Everton and Villa and see how much they have spent. Do you know what I mean?
Right, lads, we're getting a kind of bit off point here. We were talking about Newcastle and we've kind of deviated from...
And look how much Newcastle have spent and we still managed a point away from home.
Yeah, there is that. But like, at the
look
same
how
time,
they've spent a lot of money this season.
Someone made
they've
a
only
good
sold
point,
£2 million worth of players.
Someone made a good point there.
They were still an established Premier League team, though, weren't they?
No chance, Karl.
Not really. They weren't, were they? They've been up and down for the last probably 10 years.
Well, they've been up and down, twice in the last 20, 30 years?
It's not an established Premier League.
Shall we go for a pint,
How is it not an established Premier League team?
Well, how far do you want to go back?
We're not an established Premier League team. We've been out for 17
Absolutely
years.
not. Absolutely
out, as in not like coming back and then dropping
Absolutely
for the season.
Not. You're right. And you've hit the nail on the head there. We're not an established Premier League team. Exactly.
But Newcastle are and already had Premier League,
and we managed a point away from home against them.
Before they spent 270 million,
and we still managed a point away from home.
Right. What's your point?
God.
Well, that is the point. You've just given me the point.
No, tell me what my point. Well, you tell me what my point is. What's my point?
That the performance wasn't as bad as what you're making out. I don't suppose.
The performance was
my point was that you don't have to spend a shitloads of money like Brentford have. They've invested smartly and they've got Newcastle. A good manager. Newcastle spent 270 million quid. Yes, this season they've already had an established Premier League quality club team.
They almost got relegated only 2 chances.
Newcastle haven't gone
still
down
got fucking
in
Premier League
8
players.
Years. Newcastle
haven't been in the Championship I don't understand.
7 or 8 years, like.
I feel like
what's your point about Newcastle? We're talking about
retaliation.
Hang on. No, we're meant to be talking about Newcastle, and then you went on to about Brentford. So what I'm saying is, Newcastle, if you're calling them an established Premier League side, are they an established Premier League side?
No, listen. All I've said is that Brentford have invested smartly, and they're doing well.
So you've got one example. You've got one example.
Loads of money.
You've got one example. Look at all the opposite sides.
I said you don't have to spend fucking shitloads of money to be good in the Premier League.
Right. Well, you do.
Happy New Year, lads.
And that's what I said. But you don't, though. Look at Brentford as an example.
I already gave you Brentford as an example before that. I'm saying there are anomalies to everything. Look at our first season back in the Premier League.
Right. Well,
the point is, you go to Newcastle. Somebody's mentioned it earlier on. Newcastle haven't dropped a point for 7 games, and we go there.
We go there and get really well. We've got a good manager, and they've invested really well. Apart from Chris Wood, because I don't rate Chris Wood. I think he's shit. But they weakened an already pretty weak side.
So is that a good point away from home? Let's just get to the point. Was it a good point away from home?
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect.
But I've never said it wasn't.
So we're all in agreement.
That's not to say, Luke, that's not to say we can't disagree with you as well. The performance was absolutely dog shit. Like the tactics were shit.
I think the point was a good point. Is the point.
There's many points being crisscrossed all over the fucking place. I think lost track.
I'm exhausted after that. I felt like I were on Good Morning Britain with Piers Morgan arguing with Alan Sugar.
Another great point here from Jonathan.
Frustrating. It's just fucking frustrating it because it's shit. It's great when we're doing well and we're playing nice football and all that sort of stuff, and it's not. And it's just everyone's angry, everyone's pissed off. We don't seem to be going anywhere. We're risk of getting relegated again for the 2nd season in a row. So it's just everyone's a bit, everyone's a little bit tetchy and all that sort.
And Luke, just one thing you mentioned earlier on is like, the fans, this and that. I don't think the fans are getting edgy because, Bielsa or any of that kind of thing, the style of football. But we have not progressed since Bielsa left at all, footballing wise, at all. In fact, I'd go as far as to say we've gone backwards.
Absolutely.
Now, as a fan base, when you get a base, like a foundation, like regardless of what Bielsa's results were towards the end of his time at Leeds, if you have a base like that, you get an established manager in. You don't get someone like Marsh who's managed in America, managed for a few years in Austria, and then got found out after 6 months in Germany. You don't hire someone like that. In my opinion, I don't think he was the right way to progress with the foundations Bielsa had already.
Just say you hate Marsh, lads.
I don't hate Marsh. I think he's a nice fella.
That'd be easier.
I think he's a nice fella. I think he's a nice fella.
I've said it. I've been quite, honest, and I don't like Jeffrey Marsh, and I don't like.
I still don't think we should be comparing him to Bielsa because
I'm not comparing. No, you see, this is the thing.
You've just exactly used his name, Karl. You've just used his name in the same sentence only a sentence ago.
I haven't compared. This is the difference. I'm not comparing. I'm saying when you have a foundation like Bielsa left, regardless of the results he had towards the end of his time, you get an established manager in who knows what they're doing. That's not a comparison. That's a fucking fact. That's how you progress. That's not a comparison. At all. It is. You progress by getting someone in who's as good, if not better.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. But what you're saying is a comparison to Bielsa. We should have done better than Marsh because we had Bielsa. Is what you said.
It's an example. It's an example. It's not a comparison.
Right. Okay.
So
at the end of the day, but the thing is, I understand from the club's point of view that he's clearly had whoever's decided to go down the route for Marsh has looked at him, looked at the football he plays, and thought, this guy could be good. But I'm sorry, but the warning signs were there at the end of last season. Ding-a-ling-a-ling, like, hello, this is not working. This style of football does not work. Yeah, he saved us from, there's an argument for could Bielsa have saved us from relegation? Who knows? We will never know. He saved us from being relegated. But at that point, we needed to go somewhere else. Like with Eckingbottom and stuff like that. Bielsa's available. We can go, see you later, Paul. Thanks for your efforts, mate, but your football's shit and we don't want you. Bielsa's coming in. We should have done the same with Marsh because he just
out of interest, lads, seeing as though we all know who we should have gone for, who would you have gone for instead of Marsh? And who could we have attracted? Who could we have attracted more sensibly?
I would have rather had Carlos Corberán or probably Nuno ex-Wolves. Definitely would have rather.
Corberán was a massive gamble, though. He'd not managed at this level.
Absolutely, that's a bigger gamble than Marsh, arguably.
Nobody knows.
What? He's played. He's managed in the English leagues, but Marsh is managed in the MLS and frigging in Austria.
But at least he's managed at the top level in the leagues that he's been.
He understands this kind of football that Leeds are wanting to play.
I know that you can't compare the Austrian league and the Premier League so much, but I'd still sooner take somebody who's managed a good-sized club in the top division in the country they're in.
That's fair enough.
Versus somebody who's only managed in the Championship.
What about you, Karl? Who would you have brought in at that time?
I would have probably gone for Nuno myself if he was available. Because he knows the league, he knows what he's doing. The players that he brought, like look what he did with Wolves, But just one thing before.
I wouldn't. I don't know. I'm not arguing against it. I crack on with what we've got.
You're happy with how it's going, and you're happy with the football and all that sort of stuff. You're happy.
It's absolutely not. Not in.
So if you could change anything,
I wasn't. I loved Bielsa, but I wasn't happy under Bielsa either. There was things I would have changed in games Bielsa did. So there's arguments for everything.
On the flip side, we might not have ended up with Aronson and Adams if we'd not got Marsh. So
Adams was coming either apparently. So. Or Aronson was.
We don't know.
Adams won. We don't know. So, there's many things that you don't know. You're only guessing at, aren't you? I suppose.
Look, we'll move along anyway. Smarty, I'll come to you next. Yeah.
Oh fucking hell! Really?
Twitter poll results.
At least I got that one right.
You did, mate. Like a well-oiled machine, this.
I am fucking getting the hang of this now, man. This is no bother. So, Smarty, Twitter poll results. How are we doing there?
This will be a good one to get his teeth into. Round 2. Each week we ask the listeners to choose the main subject for the podcast via a Twitter poll. This week's options were the January transfers, who's in, who's out, and who's coming back, who are our informed players and who is struggling, and is it the end of the road for Radrizzani? The winner was Transfer Hokey Cokey with 56% of the vote. So we've just got in Mr. Wober, however you pronounce his name, our Austrian centre back who's been playing at left back, who can do two kind of roles, whatever you want to make of that.
And take free kicks.
Does he take free kicks as well? I've not had much time on my phone today, so I haven't really read much into him. You don't know what to do, do you? You don't know what to believe when you start hearing rumours and stuff like that. Do you waste your time looking at all his Wikipedia and his transfer market stats and all this, that, and the other? Or, do you look at his highlights reel on YouTube? What do you do? So for this one, I didn't do anything. So I've still not even seen his interview, lads. I don't know if any of you have. But who else are we looking at? Who else would you like? Who would you like to see go out and potentially loan? And who do you see as potentially getting rid of full stop? Also, Dan James apparently might be coming back. What do you think to that?
Jesus Christ.
I was going to point that out, all right, Jet. But then I heard that, is it Marco Silva's Fulham manager? He said he's actually enjoying him there and he'd like him to stay. Feels like he's bedding in quite well, so I don't think there's too much to that rumor. But we've there is links with that Coventry striker, the Greek guy,
Swedish.
Victor Gyrokares.
Swedish. Excuse me. Yes, Swedish.
Victor. I can say his first name. In fact, Karl, why don't you say his last name? You're the chief.
Yeah, go on, Karl. You're the names expert.
Gyrokares.
That'll do.
Gyokers.
That's better than how you pronounce Brian Dean. So I mean,
yeah, that's a fair one. Apparently, he's on fire now for Coventry. Only 24. Had spells at who was he at previously? Brighton. Then he went somewhere else. I think it was Brighton.
You never 3-0 apparently.
Answer me a question though, Karl. Answer me a question.
Yes.
Why is a guy who's playing for Coventry better than Sonny Perkins or Matteo Joseph?
Because we've seen them play.
He's 24 and
fucking hell.
He's a little bit more experienced, I think, and
look, I think
he's getting game time.
I don't see point.
It's a good point.
I get what you're saying. I'm not arguing it. I just think if we're looking at a striker, then someone who's top of the championship goal scoring charts, then it's a step up, and Coventry are doing quite well. So, for me,
I can agree with that to a degree.
Where do you think
I can agree to a degree, but I won't want to spend the rest of our budget on that when we've got other needs.
Budget
players for me that could.
Fucking hell, mate. We're getting fucking players on Klarna at minute. Jesus Christ.
just on the transfer hokey cokey thing. Where if you obviously you lot think that the players have put these great performances in at Liverpool and won the game, and it's not been anything to do with the managers and things. Where would we stand in the league with a good manager with the exact same squad?
I think definitely
that with squad's not good enough.
The
management's not good enough, which I'd probably agree with.
Between 12th and 9th, I think those players are far, far more capable of doing way better in a better system and tactics. I don't think the players are the problem. That's what I think.
I think it's
you
say
that, right? But we've been absolutely screaming for a left back and a frigging another striker since way into last season.
Yeah.
And these are two massive, massive little red flashing highlighted bloody lights going. They still haven't addressed that. Hopefully they have done now with Victor, whatever his last name is. But we still need someone up top. And they're massive, massive for us.
Yeah,
I don't think that, right.
Yeah, we do.
That was he's a handful. He's a handful, and there is holes in the squad. I mean, we're probably going off piece a little bit when me asking that question, and probably back to the same argument we had about 5 minutes ago. But in terms of the squad isn't strong enough to compete at a decent level for me, Karl. And I know you're saying,
no, I agree.
I agree with that.
But but I think there's ability there. But I would agree that Marsh isn't the man to be able to make these players much better. As we've agreed, he's got a certain style that is not going to change. Whereas a different type of coach who can improve a player could potentially move the club forward in that direction. Now, stuck where we are with this current crop of players, I think we're probably performing at the right level. I do. And until we strengthen in particular areas and departments, I think we've got a great youth system. I think we've got loads of really good, exciting talents, but they're not first team ready, as we've seen when they've had the chance, one or two maybe. And we have relied a lot on youth over the last, since we've been back in the Premiership, realistically, haven't we? We had that injury crisis last season. We've had a few this season, which seen Crescencio Somerville take his chance, and obviously Pascal step up as well and play sort of everywhere but up top. So yeah, look, I think in terms of this is a really important transfer market if they're going to stick by Marsh moving forward. I think we've got to strengthen in, for me, probably 2 or 3 areas. Left back, this Warber who's coming comes from good pedigree. He's obviously knows quite a lot of the players and things. It's a big difference between as we've seen from the whatever fucking league they've come from. So what's that, Austrian Premier League, is it or something? To the most competitive, best league in the world. So time will tell on that one. But
fucking Pie and P League.
We need a striker who's got an eye for goal, who can put the ball in the fucking net. We don't have a focal point without Paddy, and obviously Paddy's. We've missed that massively, and I think
we're much better with him in the team. However,
even when he's not scoring, even when he's not scoring,
we're better when he's in the team.
With Paddy in mind, a player who might be a similar type of player who we've been linked with again is Shea Adams. What's your opinion on him, Jay? Like, do you think would he add something that Paddy is leaving us, without at the moment?
Well, one thing I will say.
Can I just, before you answer that, if we get him, will you change your name to Sheikh Ate?
We'll have fun. What I will say though is, it shows how desperate our situation is.
Get it tattooed on your head.
You were supposed to get a tattoo, weren't you?
Yeah. On your phone.
I've got loads, mate.
Stuart Dallas.
I
was. I've gone from not interested in Shea Adams at all. Don't want him. Not good enough to get him in. Get him in. We need him. That's how desperate we are now, in my opinion.
He had a bit of a purple patch last year for the Saints. He was.
He went from somebody that they wanted to get rid of to somebody that they wanted to keep, didn't he? At that point.
Yeah, well, I think it was around the transfer time, towards the end of the transfer window last year, that he started banging in a few goals, and they were like, no, we're keeping him. And he had quite a purple patch kind of at the start, and then another one towards the end of the season. So maybe he could be that kind of target man that can hold the ball up. He's big, he's strong, he does, he could do what Paddy does.
I think there's potential. I don't think he's the established star we'd all like.
When you say he's big, you mean 5'9" big?
We are buying.
No, I mean stocky, like he's
We're not like in the market strong, for big names, are we? We don't have that kind of money.
Yeah.
Big to Jay is like them signs at the theme parks that go, you must be this big to ride this ride. That person's big to Jay. If you were to
be taller than me, but you've also got the longest head I've ever seen.
I have got a long head, mate. So you fucking
if I have to be a couple of inches shorter and have a normal sized head, I'll take that compared to you.
No, it's still got to be seen.
Shea Adams competitively averages 1 goal every 5 games at pretty much every team between 1 in 4 or 5. That's not what we need to be looking at for me. That's shocking. He's not the type of player that we need. He's almost like a shit Gnonto for me. He's nippy. He's got a little bit about him. He's a great finisher, but he's not what we need. We need a focal point who's going to press that back line, who's going to be an option. Rodrigo won the ball a lot in the air against Newcastle when you watch it back, but he was flicking it on to fucking nobody. There was nobody there. The players didn't know.
I totally agree with you, Luke, but I just don't think we're going to spend the money.
I said on somebody who's going to ask for the ball to the feet, hold it up a little bit until the wingers or whatever they are, penises, start getting involved in play and get past him. But that's what we need. We need almost a mixture between a target man and a false nine who's going to sit in that gap and hold it up and bring those other players, then creative players into play. Because without that, we've got fuck all without a focal point. And I'm actually shoot me down for this when he's fit, but I'm looking forward to Paddy coming back. I've heard he's back on grass, and we might see him against Cardiff. So. I mean, it's still. I hope he doesn't get an hat trick, so we don't get another striker though. So I mean, I hope he has an all right game. But do you know what I mean? It's all easy, you know.
Don't trust him.
See, that's kind of like the whole Marsh situation then as well. Like
the fact that we've had, with the board and whoever else come through every single season and say that the transfer window in January is a seller's market, it's not a buyer's market. We haven't made any signings for. I think Gilly said it was what's his name? Kiko Casilla was the last January transfer we ever had.
I thought August
worked out well.
Was it not?
Yeah, that worked out well.
Yeah, but
well, say what you want about him, mate. And all right. Apart from Augustine, who did literally nothing for the club, that we've been spanked 20 million. Castilla is the last one that made any sort of effect on the squad. But for them to now actually start looking at stuff that we should have been looking at back in the summer, another striker potentially, and we've actually secured a left back, screams that the board aren't comfortable with the team, like we've said before, and also potentially Marsh's selections. I know he's utilising in those positions. I said on Berardi and Kirk that I hate the way that Rodrigo goes about his business, playing that sort of position that is rightfully Bamford's, and we've all agreed that Bamford holds the ball up well. He looks for players. He looks to play other players in. Rodrigo doesn't do that. Rodrigo will, if he manages to get hold of the ball without missing it completely, he'll turn inside himself and probably play it back into middle of midfield without actually trying to get people to come off him, to run off him. He loses the ball so much up front. It's ridiculous. It's genuinely shocking.
I'd throw a spanner in the works here, lads. João Felix might be available for loan. What do you think?
Oh,
João Felix at Atletico.
Do you know what? I don't think he's not out. We've no chance, have we? It's just fucking stupid.
I just thought I'd throw it in there for a bit of crack, like.
But in terms of incomings and outgoings, I think now we've got that left back sorted. I think that probably sees our back line look like either Rasmus or Aylin's been playing all right there when he's had his starts. And then is he going to drop Cooper? Do you know what? How does that look?
I was going to ask you, Luke. Yeah. Do you think your man coming in as he's a centre back as well as a left back? Do you think that just kind of pushes Cooper
ideally
in?
I quite like Cooper, and I think he brings a lot to the team and the match day squad. I don't think he's good enough to play against Premier League strikers of Ivan Toney's and players like that. I think he gets found out quite easily against a good striker. And I think ideally we probably would look at a centre-back pairing of Pascal and Koch for me, with this new guy, if he's any good on the left. I mean, competition for places is great, but the other position I wanted to talk about was centre midfield. Rocker obviously didn't start the weekend. We had Forshaw starting alongside Adams, which was obviously Marsh's plan to break up a lot of play, because neither of those are creative players. They both break it up and, defensive midfielders, ball-winning midfielders, if you like, David Batty style. And they're both very similar, and I think that's why they both started that game. Rocker has been, shall we say, patchy for us. He's had some really good games, and I think he's had some very, very average games for us. I would like to see somebody come in and challenge those roles, but also be able to play slightly further forward as well, and maybe take Aronson, give him a bit more competition for play. So a utility midfielder is probably on the shopping list as a bit of a wish list. But ideally, we need a focal striker, because I'll eat my own humble pie here. I thought Paddy was going to have a great season and he wasn't going to get injured, and we didn't need a striker because we had earlier on in the season we had all this. We had all this backup, and I think I was probably a little bit over positive about the whole situation with Paddy.
Happy clapping again.
Hey, if yeah, but look, I think if we sign 2 players this window, including Warber, I'll be happy. I think we still need another one at least, though.
To be honest with you, I'd be shocked if we signed 2 players, and I'd like take me out off to the board because I didn't think they'd sign anyone a week ago.
Yeah,
Well, they have to, don't they? They can't leave it to chance
they
again
don't.
for the second season in a row. Fucking hell.
Rads
They
has
can't
to-
possibly do that.
Rads has talked about selling, and he's publicly said that now. And so he's having to weigh up: do I spend money? Do I cut into my profits? But also, if I don't spend money and we go
Profits
down,
won't be worth a wank if we're going down into championship.
exactly.
I've not read that properly. Am I misunderstanding, or are they looking at all selling? Are they looking at selling it all, as in like the 49ers and Rads selling up?
It sounded like
just
the 49ers are going to take over the remaining whatever. I think he's going to retain a certain percentage of it, isn't he? Whether that be 10, 20% or whatever it is. But yeah, they're going to be the majority shareholders come this summer, apparently.
We talked a lot about like incomings as well. Does anyone think anyone might go? Are we going to sell?
What about
finance anything else?
Oh no, absolutely not. No.
Apparently, Washington really want him.
We cannot.
Well, Washington can wait until summer.
Yeah,
We
well,
can't.
I agree on that.
Oh, so do I. Like,
I think-
geez, I don't want to see him go at all. Like,
I love
I
Slick.
think a massive
When I was on
mistake
about
for
the
that.
utility centre midfielder, I would be thinking of a younger, more hungry click type player, but better, but who can do things a little bit better. So that would be my model type midfield, but somebody who can do everything that he does just a little bit quicker and a little bit better. I mean, somebody like, and we'll never ever get signing, but somebody like Eze at Palace who can do it and that sort of thing. So, but yeah, we've all got these stupid fucking wish lists, and we'll probably just end up with that Max Warber, and we'll send 2 out on loan.
Yeah,
Who would you send out on loan?
I think somebody like who could do with a loan. I think somebody like Joffrey could probably do with a loan.
Yeah. He's not getting enough game time at all.
He's not getting enough game time. We know how good he is. Somebody, even maybe Greenwood, loan at a decent championship side. I mean, they're good players for us, and we can't afford to lose numbers. But if we can replace them with established quality that are going to bring something directly to the first team now, not maybe in 6 months, and show flashes of brilliance that are good for us now, we almost need to replace those, but not long term. Do you see what I mean?
I think Greenwood is too valuable to us right now because he's shown he can play multiple positions. So I don't think he'll get loaned out.
I think he's a decent impact sub, Greenwood.
It's almost a bit of a Dallas, just that he doesn't do defence. He just does midfield and attack. But I don't think they'll loan him out because of that, because he's valuable.
What about Drummer?
What happens to Firpo? Now he's probably third choice centre back, left back.
They should get him a ride on lawnmower. Get him a ride on lawnmower and let him go around pitch before games.
Do we know anyone with a seller for sale? We
See,
could
these
just keep him
players
down there.
I think these players have got, they've shown in parts that they're all right players, and they can do like the odd games. They've had good games for us, but they're just not consistent enough. And at this level, we need consistency.
Really?
I think Firpo's had a few games. He's had a few games, good games for us.
There's got to be some ability in there. You don't end up at Barcelona without at least.
I agree.
Players do lose their way, but there's got to be
Dan
something.
James, though. Would you take Dan James back?
I think we said earlier on we wouldn't.
I don't think so.
I think you did, but I don't think he adds anything to that team.
I don't know, mate. I probably would do. I probably would do because, it's better to have him in the squad than him probably out on loan, where he's not getting anything. If we need someone to come and run the defence ragged, right, Dan, come on for the last 10 minutes and go and run yourself absolutely ragged, chasing out everything down up front and all that, as he does that, I mean, he'll probably get red carded and sent off because he goes in a little bit heavy sometimes, as we've seen.
I still maintain that was a great challenge on.
I still think it was a proper tackle.
Jorginho, was it?
Yeah.
Kovacic. Was it Kovacic or Jorginho? One of the two.
I don't know. Chelsea, wasn't it? Yeah. But yeah, for me, I'd rather have him here than down at Fulham, rotting on bench. Doing a Calvin Phillips.
Is that because you both have the same name?
No. I'd look to sell him in summer.
The problem is, if we bring him back off loan,
kind of-
that
Does that
almost
mean you-
takes out that clause, I would imagine, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and
They're
if you
not
bring
gonna
him
buy
back,
him,
does
mate.
that mean
They are
does that
buying
mean-
him at end of season.
Does that mean you're
What's
bringing
the
him
clause?
back?
What's the buyout
and
clause
you
for?
can't bring anyone else in.
I don't think there is one. I don't think there is a clause for him. I don't think there is a sell on. I mean, there might be,
No,
but I
not
don't
a
think
sell on.
it's
Not a
like-
sell on. There's a option to buy in
Yeah,
his
I
contract,
don't know.
think, Fulham.
Yeah, I don't.
Knowing us,
Yeah,
if we
you
bring him
might
back,
have
we,
to pay that.
we won't have wages to spend on a striker. So no,
What we
that's
do
not
need
it.
is whoever was the Red Bull, was it Leipzig or Salzburg where we got Augustine from? We needed their lawyers to sort out the contracts between our two clubs that made them buy him for 25 million off us at the end of the season, regardless of whether he played or that's what we needed. Someone fucked up there. Clearly, Kinnear's no good or Orta's no good at that sort of shit. We should have had their lawyers working that so we could get rid of Dan James, bring in 25 million that we've completely frigging wasted, because it has been a complete waste of 25 million on it, let's be honest.
We won't
Although
get
I don't
think sort of 12 to 15 back on him
We'll get about 10, 15 million for him if we're lucky.
with clauses.
I'd take
To
a
be fair,
pack of
we-
rainbow drops.
You'd what?
He didn't get a good run last season, did he, with Bielsa, because he was playing him out of position all the time, and fair enough. But it don't work for Marsh's system because Marsh doesn't play with wingers, or even if he does, he plays them inverted. They play inside. So
He didn't even play with the
Bandy's
striker
put
against
in there.
Newcastle, mate.
4-0 at Goodison. They
Well,
might be
They're
going
fucked, aren't they? Everton.
They might be moving into
Mayo.
the new stadium in the championship.
Shall we move on? We've been on nearly an hour and we've still got fucking loads to do.
I was just going to say,
Loud.
let's move on to West Ham, lads.
They've got loads.
Smarty.
Fucking loads.
We'll go to
Anyway,
you
thanks
first
for that, lads.
That's all right. man.
We don't do predictions until we've talked about West Ham, mate.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's why I'm saying. Let's go to you first. What do you
I
think?
apologise.
That's all right, man. We did discuss the run
apologise,
earlier. You did actually mention that earlier on, so I wrote it down. Look,
I apologise,
wrote
Karl.
down there and
Look at
everything.
me jumping down your throat.
So
What a
okay.
bastard I am.
All right. Okay, I can be. a dick as
I
well.
think
All right.
that we're going to lose to West Ham because they haven't won for 5 games and we're Leeds.
That's
So
exactly
you can
my point I was going to make.
you can absolutely guarantee that they'll shithouse a win. I mean, just look at Jesse Marsh today in the press conference. He looks broken. He looks absolutely broken. The guy looks like he's not slept properly for a month. And he said something like the same, he's I think it's all stressful, being in this position, stressful, blah, 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 blah. And that now West Ham's looking like it needs to be a must-win. Every game seems to be a must-win, which is fair enough. If you're not putting out the performances and they're not convincing and we're not getting that many points, then they are all must-wins. People don't like to call them must-wins, but at the end of the day, if we can't beat West Ham now when in their rut, and they are in a rut, then it's looking like a bit of a shit show, innit, if we can't beat West Ham at home when they're in such a bad, in such bad form.
If we beat West Ham, we're 5 ahead of them. And that opens a little bit of a gap and puts them in a little bit more trouble. Obviously, Everton losing 4-0 at the moment to Brighton, that also helps our cause. But we don't want to be in a position where, we're relying on other teams to help get us out of the predicament we're in. So, Jay, what's your opinion on it? I know Smarty's basically
fucking
what we're
Bremner's
all-
ghost is absolutely sniffing prick sticks. This guy, we aren't beating Cardiff either. I'm sorry to break it to you. We
4
aren't beating them.
wins in January.
No chance. Absolutely no chance.
Got a chance.
Wow. Why do you think it's not a chance, Jay? What do you think? Is it because they've not won in 5? It's going to be a bit of a hoodoo for us, is it?
Well, there was that meme going around, wasn't there, a season or so ago about not had a win all season, play Leeds.
Shit, yeah.
And it feels a bit like that at times, doesn't it?
How many times have we seen it over the last few seasons, though? In that, it's
Yeah,
exactly
a
the
lot.
same sort of scenario.
A lot. And,
Oh, we haven't won for 19,000 years. Oh, we're playing Leeds United away. Oh, that's great. We'll can surely get a win there.
Oh, we've not won an away game in 18 months. Let's play Leeds. It's just fucking terrible, man. I fear the worst, but I hope for.
It's a bit doom and
I hope
gloom,
for-
is this?
I know, but I hope for something decent. They're doing badly. There's a lot of pressure on the manager there. He's having to come out publicly and say, "Oh, I'm in no danger of being sacked. It's all great." Blah blah blah. That's always a bad sign. So we have to be ruthless. We have to pile the pressure on. We have to go out there and play like they're the team under threat and in trouble. That's the only way. We can't sit back and do that. No striker, fucking Rodrigo sat in midfield and just knocking balls over the top, seeing what happens. We can't do that.
Yeah,
you won't get away with doing that. You won't get away with doing that in the home game.
See, I think the difference between Moyes or West Ham and us is I think Moyes has a little more credit in the bank after qualification for Europe and stuff like that over our manager at the moment. So I think even if we beat West Ham, I think he's definitely got more credit in the bank to get away with a loss away to us.
I agree with you on that. Yeah, definitely.
But I think it's going to be a very tough game. I think how the crowd react to the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes is going to tell us what the hell kind of a game to look forward to, really going ahead, you know. Luke, are you going to be watching the game tomorrow, are you? Because you're on BNC with me.
Yeah, I'm not travelling up, mate. I'm going to watch on the box. Long trip down to Cardiff on Sunday.
You going?
Can't be asked to do it.
Oh, yeah, bollocks to that, man.
Jesus, fair play to you, brave man doing that.
I know.
Can you take an effigy of Sam Hammam with you and set fire to
Can I borrow your caravan, Smarty, just for the night?
You stole it. Yeah,
just to set on fire after the game. Look, I think. Well, do you know what? Call me an eternal optimist, but I think we're actually going to fucking ruin West Ham. I think it's been coming. I think we're due at a massive thumping, and I think morale's down there.
We are due a massive thumping.
Have you been at that CBD?
Yeah, we haven't really had a proper thumping this year, apart from Brentford, and even then we were competitive. There was a couple of stupid individual mistakes. Do you know what I mean? So I don't think we've really had there's not been a time this season where I felt we're actually going to get tongue. Even against City the other week, when I thought we were going to lose 5 or 6-0, we were on. Was it 3-1?
Yeah,
I can't remember the final score. I was fucking hammered.
Wrong podcast, Liam. If you're looking for positivity, pal.
Liam, get yourself on, mate. I'll tag you in. You can come and be a little positive ray of sunshine if you like. I don't care.
I agree with Liam, though. I think everybody is. I mean, we're 14th in the Premier League. Yeah, we're equal on points at the same stage last season, but there are a lot of shit teams in this league this season. West Ham arguably being the worst of the lot. So yeah, I mean, certainly on form. They've won 4 all season. We've won 4 as well. But yeah, look, I think I'm trying
that didn't go according to plan there at all.
Bless him, he's trying.
No, I just think that. I mean, I just think somebody some of the style, and I know you're gonna totally disagree with me, all of you. The style of the play we've had against sides at Ellen Road this season, when we've welcomed, I keep going on about Chelsea and Arsenal when we played them. We played some really nice stuff, and it was lovely to watch. And we probably should have got. I mean, we obviously thumped Chelsea 3-0, but we probably should have beaten Arsenal as well on that day. And they're by far and away the best side in the league this season. It only takes that. I understand why we went to Newcastle and played like we did, and I completely get that. We had important players out, and we're not going to play anything like that for me.
2 days less rest than them as well.
2 days less rest than Newcastle. It was all set up for us to get a fucking hiding up there. And I just don't think you look at the lineups that we had as well. Adam Forshaw hasn't played football for a fucking year, and he starts against Newcastle away in the league. It's just fucking mad, isn't it? And I think we've got 1 or 2 numbers back this week, and I just think we'll just give him a good hiding.
Yeah, okay. Let's hope so.
With that,
there has been
the bubble blowing bastards.
there has been patches.
Blow your bubbles up your ass.
There has been patches of good stuff. We just need more of that.
It's just consistency, Jake, comes down to for me. We go from a really good performance, and I think we went away to Leicester, and played absolute dog shit. The worst I've seen us play for a long, long time. On the back of a good performance. I think it was after Arsenal, actually, wasn't it? After the Arsenal game.
I think it was. Because we were quite optimistic going there, thinking we were going to do them.
Yeah. And I just think for me, we just, for not just for me, but for the club's sake, we just need to find that level of consistency and start putting teams away and, you know, playing a little. I think having a striker will improve that, but it looks like probably Paddy won't be ready for then anyway. But it will still be Rodrigo. But yeah, look, I think it'll be a totally different game. The crowd behind us, they'll shit it, and we'll absolutely fucking pump them.
I reckon
Let's hope so.
I'm gonna say yes.
If we get Adams sat on Rice, I think we'll stand a very, very good chance of hurting him.
Like physically,
very good chance.
Can't move.
Literally all over him. If you've got Adams
big and strong, he's 5'8".
Right.
Oh bloody hell! With that in mind, so we'll go on to predictions. Luke, you, I'm just going to put down 4-1 for you because you've said it's going to be a pumping.
Fucking do it!
Fucking hell! Leeds 4-1. Right, Smarty.
Fucking hell!
It's like pulling teeth.
1-0 West Ham.
Oh, Jay.
Bastard.
I'm worried, but I do think there's enough in us to beat them, and they're on a bad run themselves. So 3-1 Leeds. We won't keep a clean sheet, never do, but we've got to start scoring.
I'm aiming for bottom of our predictions league.
The wooden spoon.
I do feel like it's probably a draw in there to me, but I think we've got enough. I think we've got enough.
I'm going.
I hope we've got enough. I don't know.
By the way, I don't know if you guys have paid any attention to the Arsenal-Newcastle fixture, but the amount of time wasting and throwing themselves on the floor that Newcastle are doing is quite, comical, contrary to what they were saying that we were doing on Saturday or whenever we played them. You guys spend more time on the floor and this that, and the other. They're just absolutely throwing themselves everywhere.
Fucking hell.
It's been a bit of a shit game, really.
There's a few people who got in there first. Jay Michael says for the fans put 3-1 against Wet Spam. So I'm assuming that's 3-1 Leeds, Jay, is it?
Gotta be on it.
Yeah. You just don't know.
Even Gilly's going for a Leeds win, look.
You look at the quality they've got. They should not be that low in the league. They've got a quality.
No, they're not. And they're going to and they're going to go, actually, we're better than what we've been for the last few fucking months. We better go and absolutely dick Leeds away. And that's exactly what's going to happen. That is exactly what's going to happen tomorrow. And I'm
hoping that won't happen.
It's going to happen.
3-1, Jay Michael.
It's Leeds, mate. It's Leeds. We're losing.
Right, that's kind of it, lads. Luke, you wanted to give a shout out there towards the end for something that you mentioned earlier.
Oh, of course I did, yeah, but I wasn't prepared just yet. I didn't think we'd finish so rapidly.
Sorry, man. Sorry.
Give him time. Give him time. Pick five teams that are worse than us that you think are probably going to go down more than us.
There ain't 5 worse than us, Smarty.
Of course there is. No, there is. There definitely is. There definitely is. That's why I don't think we'll go down.
The bottom 3 has to go
down.
Your biggest prediction of this season, Smite, was that he was going to be sacked by Christmas. So,
no, that wasn't this season. That was last season.
I predicted that last season. He wasn't here at Christmas last season.
I predicted last season that'd be gone by Christmas this season. That's what I predicted. And by rights, really, he fucking should be. But anyway,
yeah, he should have been maybe after.
I don't think Wolves will be down there at all.
I don't.
Oof,
I think the bottom will. I don't think they will, me. But we'll see. I reckon Southampton, Forest, Everton, Bournemouth, and Leicester will be below us come end of season.
Leicester.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for Everton, Forest, and Saints to be bottom 3. To be fair,
I'd love Everton to go down. I'm not going to lie.
I'm not sure about 5 teams worse than us, but I think those 3 are.
I think there'll be one team that plummets as well. I think there'll be one of those sides up there that sort of doing all right. Fulham maybe, Palace potentially, Villa. Yeah, there's all those. I think they'll be comfortably 5 sides below us.
Like a win tomorrow. We're only 2 off Villa, and everyone's saying they're having a great fucking spell under you, Emery. Like You know
Everyone
what I mean?
seems to say that about them all the time, and they're never doing anything.
A great
special.
spell.
Great spell,
They'll
hey.
be very lucid to serve you this season.
They've been what?
We will be very lucid to serve you this season.
I'm thinking Bournemouth, mate. Honestly, I think Bournemouth. I think Bournemouth. I think Bournemouth and Leicester will be down there. Honestly, I think.
I'm hoping Bournemouth are. I'm not sure about Leicester.
I think.
As long as we're not, I don't give a fuck.
I think Southampton, Forest, and Leicester will go down. As much as
We've
I'd love
got
to see
a real
Everton go down, I don't
opportunity
think
to
they
put
will.
a bit of room between us now. If we beat these wankers tomorrow,
Yeah.
we've got a real opportunity.
We really need to give it our all. That's
Jesus
all I want
Christ!
to see.
I mean, the teams around us are literally on 18 points. Bournemouth have played 18. Leicester have played 18. Leicester are 1 point above us. Bournemouth are on the same points. Everton have played 18. West Ham have played 17.
Yeah,
You know,
that's it.
Have we played 16?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we
played
have,
16.
scum in hand, don't we?
Scum and Forest.
Yeah,
Yeah. So we could really do with a win tomorrow.
yeah.
We need
Right,
it.
I found it, guys.
Oh,
News from Auto Better.
Not sure that was the right one, but yeah, we got
this is news for more to know better. This is news.
Well, this can be the
can be
news
news.
part. This can be news. Yeah. So we were contacted over Christmas by a gentleman who's I probably won't. I'll ask them if they want naming on the next one, but I'll not name them on this particular episode. And if they want crediting on the next one, then I'm sure they'll let me know. But yeah, they basically wanted to highlight that Andy Mann's club are back up and running from the 9th of January for anybody that's been struggling. I know a lot of people struggle, not just men, but Andy Mann's club is obviously a group for men. Loads of blokes needing to talk after the Christmas period. It's obviously quite a difficult period, a lot more difficult for some than others. And they're open from 7 p.m. till 9 p.m. every Monday, barring bank holidays, at the following locations if anybody wants to get along in and around Leeds. And that's at Vale Circle in Beeston, the Milford Rugby Club in Kirkstall, and the Leeds College of Building South Bank campus of Cudbear Street. So if anybody is struggling, it is obviously good to talk so you can get along and speak to other people. I know there's quite a lot of Leeds fans who openly sort of put their hand up and let everybody else know that they go. There's many of my friends go, and I'm sure many of yours as well. So if you are struggling, do get yourself along to one of those sessions in and around Leeds. They are national, so if you're not in or around Leeds, just type in Andy Mann's Club into Google, and I think that will show you your nearest Andy Mann's Club. So yeah, thanks for.
I think it's Andy's Man Club, Luke, rather than Andy Mann's Club. I think it's Andy's Man Club. Yeah, I just don't want people Google it wrong.
Forgive my punctuation.
no, that's fair. That's a fair one.
It's not Andy Mann's Club.
I think it's
Andy's Man Club. Andy Mann's Club is completely different. You don't want to go to that website.
That's the worry.
That's a total.
Thank you for clarifying. I wonder if I can get some dodgy cookies coming up and
you've been searching and thinking you're doing the right thing here. Just make sure you have all the information. It's like,
this looks like a club I want to go to.
Yeah,
no.
I want a cricket bat.
All joking aside, yeah. If thanks for getting in touch and letting us know about that. If anybody else does want us to give a shout out, anything around sort of mental health and stuff, we're more than happy. We're all advocates for that sort of thing. So
it's good to talk.
Yeah, get yourselves in. Any other business? Have we got anything else we wanted to talk about tonight? There was something else, and I can't remember what it was.
Handyman's Club as well. Handyman. Do you want our club?
That wouldn't be it.
What's that? You've got a leak under your sink?
It's like a drama club where dodgy blokes practice these routines.
I've nothing further to add to that. No, I'm going.
Anyone got an ought to know better?
Yeah, anyone got an ought to know better?
Anyone?
Well,
yeah, you miserable cunt.
Oh! And on that
Family show.
then we will leave it there. Thanks for joining us. Luke's just fuck the algorithm. You all.